so many things in life require insurance, whether it's your home, your health, your car. So here to answer your insurance related questions is Christopher Cook from Alliance Insurance Services. And so he is taking your questions as well. We're going to be putting a number at the bottom of your screen so that you'll be able to text in whatever question you want to ask about insurance. It, of course, is enrollment time, Christopher Cook. So, I mean, what would you tell people who are like, oh, I had the same insurance from last year. I don't really need to pay attention to what it is this year?
Well, that's Pandora's box, if you will, Tanya. But for the Affordable Care Act customers, so individuals who buy their own health insurance policies, your plan possibly changed. Tax credits have changed. I would encourage you to review what's going on within your system because I'll take Blue Cross, for example. They're the predominant player in our region. They've had some network changes. Their website's been updated to let you know what their premiums will be, et cetera. Like, just spend a little time, make sure you know what you're buying for 2025.
Yeah, because just because you have even the same insurance carrier doesn't mean that they're still going to cover the same kind of prescriptions that you have or even your doctors.
That's right. There's network changes that are going on. There's prescription changes that occur. And for those of us who are over 65 and in that Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplement change or supplement product, there are also changes to networks in the county I live in Surrey County. There's been a pretty drastic change with one of the providers and Humana's relationship. So that's just an example. I encourage folks that are in the space where they buy their own individual policy to take time to review it. Many of us are going to say, oh, that doesn't apply to me. I'm a group employee. I get my insurance through my job. Well, they probably changed something too. And many network or many employers renew on January 1st or December 1st. So just think about it. Make sure you understand what you're buying.
Gotcha. Okay. When it comes to what we all just witnessed happen in Western North Carolina, what we heard was, this was a centuries flood. This is a 1,000-year flood. It will probably never happen again. And yet it could happen again. And a lot of those folks did not have flood insurance.
The vast majority of those folks did not have flood insurance. That's correct. I listened to Governor Cooper speak last night, and it reminded me in his term, we've had two 500-year storms. So we had two 500-year terms in one governor's term. It can happen again, unfortunately. We hope not. We pray not. But yes, things like disasters can happen, and they can reoccur in the same place. Lightning can strike the same place twice, so to speak. But you probably don't have flood insurance on your homeowner's policy. I'd encourage you to investigate that.
So to kind of help people understand what the context is, if you don't have flood insurance, like the people in Western North Carolina, and something happens to your house, what happens? Like, who pays? Does anybody pay for anything?
In the simplest terms, no. There are federal grants, there are charitable donations, there are loans that go out, which is you paying for that. But in a very simplified form, no one pays for anything, and all of those hard years, hard work, and all that effort is gone.
And a lot of times people still owe money on their homes.
Most homes in America have a mortgage of some sort on them, right? That is just the reality. And then they still owe the money to the bank because they promised to pay it back.
And they are on the hook for that.
Yeah, they are. And that leads to bankruptcies and foreclosures and all sorts of problems. You and I have been friends over a decade now. I looked back recently, and some of our conversations surrounded floods in San Antonio, which has the same likelihood of flooding as Greensboro, North Carolina, where you stand today. Like, it can happen anywhere. And I pray that your viewers won't just say, well, that happened in the mountains or that happens at the coast. It can happen to any of us. And if you choose to take that risk on yourself, that's totally fine, right? You don't have to insure every risk out there, but you really need to have an understanding of whether you want to buy flood insurance or not.
Okay, but I think that what the consumer would think when they hear an insurance person talk about that is, well, they just want me to spend more money, right? So can you kind of break down how much is flood insurance? How much does that kind of add to your policy?
For $100,000 worth of flood insurance for 95% of the people watching this right now, it would be $500 a year, $40 a month, $10 a week. It is a Starbucks cup of coffee every other day, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. And a lot of times people would say, well, my insurance agent said, well, you're not in a floodplain, so you don't need it.
I despise that statement about as much as I despise any statement. Flood insurance can be purchased by anyone, whether they are in a floodplain or not. Over 75% of floods in North Carolina occur in non-flood zones. Flood-prone zones are highly likely to flood, but that doesn't mean, again, Greensboro can't flood. So you can buy a policy, and that's why I say 95% of your viewers would pay $500 a year or less for flood insurance.
Gotcha. All right, we got 1 minute. I got this quick question. Should I go to an insurance specialist to buy a healthcare policy, or can I just apply directly to a carrier to find a policy?
You can do either that you choose. The healthcare.gov is a great website to allow you to enroll yourself. But I would tell you that health care is complicated. In Winston-Salem, where I go to get my medical care, I can either choose Atrium or Novant for the most part. There's lots of great independent practitioners too, but those are the two main networks. My health insurance carrier may cover Novant only, or they may cover Atrium only. And I need to know that before I make a choice. So it gets complicated. So I'd encourage you to talk to a professional. You can totally do it on your own if you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, but talking to an independent insurance agent does not cost you to do that. So.
No, there's no upcharge.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You can always text us your questions. We'll be back in just a minute.